Welcome.
Welcome, yes.
We're so happy to have you. My name is Mickey Antovich. I am the Director of New Student Services.
My name is David Ortega, and I am the Director of Parent Services and Communications for the campus. I'm a Cal graduate. My wife's a Cal graduate, and my son recently graduated from Cal, so I was a Cal parent as well as working on campus for the last 27 years. I've kind of grown up here my adult life in Berkeley, which I've really enjoyed, and I offer that to you, my experience to you as a resource. Okay, so I've been in your seat. I've had to use the advice that we give here. I've had to use that with my own student, and it works. It actually does.
Wonderful. Well, we're going to spend the next about 2.5 hours together, but the first thing I want to share with you all is we know there's a lot going on. You have a million things. Perhaps there could be a sheet or lamp or printer emergency with moving in places that you need to attend to, or there's just something that you've got to do. And so we want to give you the grace to be able to kind of get up and go, because we know that your students have a lot going on today. But we want to spend the first hour or so with David and I, and then all of you all. So this is not going to be us talking at you. We're going to be asking you to engage with us. We want to hear from you. We want to be able to build connections. And then for the last about hour and a half, we're going to be bringing in campus partners from so many different resources who we know, hearing from you all, these are things that parents and supporters are interested in learning about. We're going to be filming all of this, and so it will be going up on the Cal Parents website. We'll also know that nothing we share with you all is secretive in any way. All of these things are coming from resources throughout campus. So do what you need to do today to make sure that you're in the best place for yourself, supporting your students, but we're just excited to spend some time with you all. And a little housekeeping, there are restrooms on either side as you exit. So important things there.
Yes.
Wonderful. So we're going to jump into the part where you all are going to have to actually talk to us. You feeling ready for it? Yes, no, maybe? Well, get excited. We'll just sit and stare at you if you don't. All right.
Yeah, there we go. Roll call. As we started a little bit earlier, want to know who's in the room. Who here is, and so if you wouldn't mind, who here is from the state of California? All right, Look at that. Wow. Who here is from outside of the state of California? Yell out where you're from. Houston. All right, connection.
Carpool. There we go. Long carpool.
Maryland. Yes. India. I think that's furthest.
Yeah.
So far. Where else are you from? Just yell it out. Florida.
Spain.
España.
We got
Nice.
another one. Lovely. Delaware. I know
Delaware.
we had New Jersey earlier.
New Jersey. Any New Yorkers? Dallas.
Dallas,
That's
Georgia.
Texas, right?
Virginia.
Virginia.
Awesome.
Arizona. Nice.
Lovely.
So as you can see, we got a lot of people from all different parts of the country. It's fantastic. So
What about those folks from California? I mean, how many
Yeah.
are the Southern California folks?
Let's see.
Okay.
All right.
Did y'all wake up at 2 a.m. to start that drive here, or have you been? No. Yep, back there. Okay. How you doing? Coffee is down the street.
Pete's.
Okay. How about Central California? We always like
Who here is from the Central Valley?
Central Valley.
Anyone? No, Central Valley.
not today.
Central Coast? Santa Barbara up to Carmel? Yeah. Where you from? Santa Barbara. Yes,
Lovely.
great. How about Northern California? Who's here from Northern California? All right. What city? Oh, great.
Bay Area, love it.
Love the city.
Now the same commute as people coming from Southern California today.
Anybody from Berkeley? Who are our Yellow Jackets in the room? Yellow Jackets is the high school mascot, Berkeley High. All right, none. We usually have a few of them.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's continue on.
How many of you are parents in the room? So it's your child coming to school. Okay. Okay, that's the majority of folks coming in. How about we have any siblings in the room?
Siblings in the room. There we go.
Future bears. Wonderful.
All right.
Any grandparents?
All right, we got a
Lovely.
pair of grandparents there.
Significant others, partners?
Uncles or cousins and all that
Lovely.
good stuff.
Are you all connected to someone who's starting their career at Berkeley? Or are you just
Anybody.
hanging out on a Monday in Wheeler
Did you
Hall
just
with all of us?
wander in here.
To each their own.
Yeah, hey.
Oh, that's wonderful. Aunts, uncles, guardians. Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, we're so happy to have you all here today.
Exactly. Who here, let's ask some questions. Who's sending away their first child? Hands up. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Very nice.
How about...
You a little worried? No?
We'll be
All
right.
good.
How about 2?
Who's sending their second child off to college? All right. Third child? All right. Fourth child?
5
Do I dare?
plus?
Fifth child?
You're 5?
Yes.
Congratulations.
You win.
Yeah, you win.
And you're bankrupt.
Wonderful. That's amazing. You now get to do the presentation.
Does anybody have 6 or 7 to 10? All right.
You do?
How many? This is your 8th child. Sorry, ladies.
Yeah.
They win. Yay.
Congratulations. Wonderful.
Wow. All
Okay.
right.
You're making your way around the UCs. It's all good.
All right.
Wonderful.
That's awesome.
Oh my goodness.
That's the most of anybody we've ever had.
Yeah.
I think
We've-
that's the
we've been
record.
doing this for a while.
8 is the record. 7 used to be the record. 8 is the record. That's phenomenal.
You get a mom and dad, Cal mom and dad
Cal
pin.
mom and dad. Free Cal mom and dad pin. You already got it on? We're good. All right.
How many of y'all, though, this is the last
Who's empty nesters?
empty nested? We got some exciting
All right.
ones who were like ready for it.
Right.
Awesome.
We've talked to many psychologists. Do not change their room just quite yet into your workout room. Wait till Thanksgiving, after Thanksgiving or Christmas. Just kidding.
We always forget about this one. This is an important one. How many Berkeley alumni are in the room? Do we have any
Hey,
folks
go
returning
Bears.
back?
All right. Got 2. All
Yeah.
right.
Does Wheeler look a little bit different? We got new carpet. Never had class here.
I had a
Well,
ton of
welcome
classes
back.
here.
We're so excited to have you all. Wonderful.
That's great. Let me ask this question. I love this question. So, if you went away to college, put your hand in the air. Parents, put your hand in the air. If you went away to college, put them high, put them high. And I want you to only put your hand down. Keep your hands up. Only put it down if you were taken by your parents to college. Put it down. If you weren't, keep your hand up. So, about 3/4 of you kept your hands up. So, what does that say? Now we're having orientation for parents, right? So it's a different shift in paradigm. It's not better, it's not worse. It's just different. But that's kind of where we are nowadays. So that's I love to do that because most of my peers, we just kind of put everything into the Datsun B210 or something like that and drove up I-5, and then you're here. But now it's just a different collegiate experience. So just know that it's different. It's not better or worse, it's just different. All right, and it's a partnership. See, so we celebrated our 150th
Sesquicentennial. Took me about a year to
Sesquicentennial.
figure out how to say that.
That is a tongue twister. And so we kind of know what we're doing in terms of academia, student life, new student services, University Health Center. We have so many resources. However, the very important foundation that your student's coming from is you. So it's a partnership. We're going to do our part, and you guys are going to still be involved with your student in so many different ways and be their support system. So know that we're going to do this together. You're not just tossing them here and having us, work everything out, because it's not. They're going to look to you for a lot of information. So know that.
And it's really, for us, it's a transition for the whole family. That's what we asked in the beginning, who's in the room, because we know your students are coming here today, and there have probably been a lot of feelings and emotions leading up to this. But it's the same way for you all, too. We recognize that there's just a lot going on, and that while they may be excited or anxious or feeling things, so are you. So we also want to be able to give everyone in this room permission to feel exactly how you're feeling, no matter what they tell you how to feel or not feel, or whatever cow gear they want you to not wear. But everyone's experiencing this. You've been going through this and working so hard alongside your student to get to this point today, and everyone's experiencing it. And I know we had some siblings in the room, and it's something for them too. How many of y'all have pets at home? Be prepared for a transition with the pets. Your students, their pets probably will in the next day or two spend a little bit more time in your students' room smelling and waiting. Your grocery bill might look a little bit different over the coming days, but we really want to acknowledge that. And that's, I think, a testament to the fact that coming to Berkeley is an incredible accomplishment. And your students have done so much to get here, and we really want to celebrate them and give them the tools to be successful, but also recognizing the help and support of everyone in this room, and maybe, friends in the neighborhood, or all those folks, to be able to get to this point, because we know that success here at Berkeley is not an individual thing, and the same way of success to get into Berkeley was not individual. So we want to acknowledge all of you all of those not in the room, and again, all those fuzzy animals at home who might have a little bit tough time with that transition.
Yeah, and you might want to just keep tabs on your younger siblings and stuff as you get going. I had a very interesting experience with my children. My oldest came to Cal, and we live 12 miles away, so it's not like you're going very far. But it's still, he went away to college, he went to Cal, and he stayed here and did the whole thing. I had one daughter who would not talk about it, and I was like, because I try to talk to my kids, and we talk about, what do you think about David leaving? He's going away. He was the first one to leave. And lo and behold, one of my daughters just wouldn't talk about it. She walked away, and I was like, oh, that was weird. So 2 days later, I'm talking to her on the way home from school, and I said, hey, you didn't talk about that the other day. And she just burst into tears that she was so scared that David was leaving, and her big brother, and he had been driving her to school, and they had their own times together. And so I was like, oh, my goodness. I didn't even realize this was going on with my daughter. So we sat down and we pulled over and we talked and chit-chatted about it, and just to make sure that they're understood, they're validated. These are real feelings. It's like, all right, cool, no worries. Let's just talk about this. So know that when you go back and you're talking to your younger siblings, make sure you just kind of make sure they're cool. Make sure they're feeling all right. Any of you embarrass your kids while you've been on campus so far? Put your hands up if you did, because I'm calling out. What'd you do? Can't wear a cow hat
gear,
or,
no.
Come on, cow gear. What'd you do? Yeah, buy it, but don't wear it, Dad. What'd you do? Take a picture? Why are you taking pictures, Mom? No, I get that. Anybody else? What'd you do?
Did anyone ask for directions?
Directions. Did anybody ask for directions and embarrass their kid?
Oh, you can't do that.
You can't do
Possibly.
that. Come on.
No.
Asking for extra information than what's posted on the wall. Come on, Mom. You
can't
do
these
that.
So
it was just embarrassing, right?
Oh.
Well, that's kind of where they're at right now, right?
Yep.
They don't quite know where they're at.
Yeah. They're straddling these two worlds where they're still a little bit in maybe high school or community college if they're a transfer student, and then they're about 1 foot here at Berkeley. So it's that hard of knowing where they can be. And no matter what, no matter that they're these brilliant individuals who everyone got into Cal for a reason, there's still this fear of, am I supposed to be here? And will everyone like me?
Fit in?
Right? That's still that kind of that kindergarten feel of
Right.
who are going to be my friends. And I think there's that fear there. And knowing that you all won't be there after moving happens, kind of get that fear.
So what else is going on in there?
What else did y'all see?
Yes. Very self-conscious. Why was she self-conscious? She's being judged. By who?
Other kids.
Did you hear what she said? Anybody? She said muffin top. Muffin top across the hall. She's judging her. And she's getting judged by her looks. People can be cruel.
Yeah.
That's
It goes back to that fear of judgment, and then kind of wanting to put that on others before someone puts it on you, and then you all will embarrass them on top of it. So it's a lot. What else is the parents? Well, you mentioned the shirt and wanting to make it feel like that surprise and that specialness there, but how are the parents treating Haley? Nostalgic, exactly. They're seeing her as that little girl maybe walking on to the kindergarten school bus for that first time. Do you still have your son as your screensaver?
My son's picture on my phone is him in his little bath water with rubber ducky and stuff, and it was a great photo, and he's still there.
Yep. And now he's a graduate of UC Berkeley.
He graduated from Cal already, and he's working in a law firm, so, but that's him, Yeah. So... And we're going to do that as parents. I mean, that's kind of what it is, because now, they're no longer kids.
Yeah.
So we're coping with change.
Yeah. And just recognizing that this change, everyone's handling differently. I mentioned this a bit before, but everyone in the family, every person here, your student, change is inevitable. It's good. You've worked hard to get to this point, but the folks handle it differently, and that's okay. And so some folks, parents might be wanting to stick to the list, keep that mask on, be really nostalgic. Your student might want to just be fear of being judged, or a ton of excitement for this day, but it's inevitable for everyone, and that's okay. And so we just wanted to acknowledge that for everyone in there, you're experiencing this, your students experiencing that, and the emotions and feelings from minute to minute or day to day could vary, and that's okay.
So we have an analogy here. We want you to be the coach, okay? What does that mean? Well, how it is when you're a coach and you're a practice coach, when you're when you're at practice, so you're a practice coach. You have your student, but and you're going over everything with it. You're teaching them everything. You're in the weeds. You're teaching them about ABCs to AP classes to tests. How am I going to do this? Where are you applying to school? How many schools are you applying to? All that stuff, right? So when you're in the weeds and in practice, that's what these coaches do. My favorite is up in the top left there, Terry McKeever. She's been the Olympic swim coach for the USA at the last one in London. Mm-hmm. What was the last? Was it London? No, it was. What was the last one? Rio. She was the swim coach at Rio. I just saw her this morning, and I said, "You're on my thing here," and she because when you're a coach and you're in practice, you're teaching every little bit of breathing, your arm motion, all this stuff. The same like parents do with their kids. But then it comes competition time. And so it's now your time to be a competition coach and come on over to the sideline and let them go do their thing. It's time for them to go and compete. It's time for them to go be out on their arena now is academia. So send them out there. It's their turn to learn. Their turn to compete, their turn to fall down, and they're going to have to pick themselves up. Because if they're calling you and looking back to you for every bit of every step they take, they're not going to grow as much. Allow the growth. And if they fall down, they'll pick themselves up. They'll use the resources on campus. They'll continue to grow. And that is very, very important. One of the things that Cal preaches so much is independence. That's really what we want. When you leave this school, you should be able to go out in the world and really take advantage of it. People are not going to have to sit there and tell you what to do for you to be successful. We strive for our students to be that independent achiever. So this starts right now. And believe me, I had to take my own advice with this. I did, and I have a great story about it. I'm not going to tell it now, but I've taken my own advice to have to sit back and wait and let my son do what he was going to do. They do it. They have the consequences, and then they have to deal with it. But the growth from that point forward is you never have to deal with it again. they learn, and they learn how to take care of business. And that's what we're excited about. And, and you might never go through that, but it might happen. And the growth part of that is going to work for your student. So that's why we say going from being a practice coach to a competition coach.
You may be wondering, how do I do that? How do I switch into that coaching gear as a parent or a sibling or a support person for my student? And we like to use the theory of challenge and support, that most human beings in their life need kind of equal amounts of challenge and support to grow. Because imagine if all you had was challenge in your entire life and you're only ever beat down. You need to know that you have folks behind you, that you are capable, because at a certain point you will crumble. If you are only ever completely supported and that first challenge comes around, and that challenge could be a B or a C or a D on a test, that might happen. You might struggle so much. So we want to find that balance. And you all, of all the folks in the room, you know your students better than anyone. You know what kind of person they are. Are they the student who's going to be in their head and giving themselves the hardest time ever? If that's the case, then maybe you're more of that support. You are encouraging them, say like, no, you've got this. Don't, try to get out of your head, because you're the one you got here to Berkeley. You're going to keep doing well. Or maybe they're the one, they're like, it'll be fine. It'll all work out. And you say, well, maybe go to class and try that out. Find that balance. So you all know who your students are, and Berkeley is going to push them in different ways. This is a totally new environment, and we want to spend a lot of time helping them figure that out, and it's going to take time. They're going to have new peers and new academic surroundings, and all of those things are going to lead to that growth that David talked about. But you want to find that balance. So from you all, when you're switching to that competition coach, is thinking about who is your student and how are you supporting or challenging them based on who they are and the pressures or the lack of pressure they put on themselves.
And communication is the answer. So I recommend, I know a lot of people, who here texts with their student? Hands up.
You texting them right now? Yeah.
If you don't text, you might want to start, because it's a great way just to send a quick message to your student, and they're going to be busy. And that's what we hear from all of our students, that and typically they will call you when they're walking to or from class. That's usually a time that they allot for parents, because that's when I get it from my daughter, and it's great. But however, if you want to talk to them, or if you want to have some sort of scheduled communication, whether it's Sunday evening or Friday afternoon before the weekend starts or whatever, you guys make sure that there's buy-in on the other end. Make sure that there's a communication kind of strategy between you and your student. I can imagine with eight students over there off at college, the communication must just be out there, huh?
Yeah. Big family plan. A lot of group texts probably going on.
You guys can help teach this course next time. But so make sure there's buy-in though. That's the key. I have a rule with my kids, and I just tell them very simply, let's text each other, let each other know. But if I call you, it means I need something from you now, so answer your phone. And if you don't want to answer your phone, that's fine. I can cut it off and not have you have a phone. Then we can send smoke signals, and I'll email you. So, but that's my communication strategy with my family. So. Anybody here have other children that have a strategy that they talk to their students on a regular basis? Anyone? No? You guys don't talk to your kids? In college? Huh?
I try not to.
Yes, ma'am.
You send each other memes. I love it. Yes. It's a great way to communicate.
That leads into our...
Yeah. Well, and I think also in knowing that they're going to be transitioned, this could be the first time for many of you that your students haven't lived in you're home. So there could be some anxiety about, okay, I don't know when you're getting into bed at night. And so maybe it's a communication plan for that first week of asking them to send a little like sleep emoji when they're going to bed, feeling better. And they are going to be busy this upcoming week. They are going to be full with a ton of programming going on. Like I always say, you're welcome. We keep them nice and busy so they're not doing other things. And so it's just going to be a new life experience. And so if there's things that you expect, like knowing grades or other pieces like that. We'll go into that more later, but just wanting to know that you are a part of this. And we've talked about being a part of that same partnership. And so it's okay to say, I'd like to hear from you once a week, or FaceTime, so you can see their faces.
So you can see how are they losing weight? Are they not eating properly? Do they not like the food? You know, if you're looking at them, you can tell a little bit more what's going on in their life. The other thing is, this might be the opportunity, the communication is to go from parent-kid to parent-adult. You know, start the adult conversations, because that's going to be really important. If you want information from your student, talk to them as an adult, and they'll reciprocate. I mean, they'll still act like kids sometimes, but they also will take those steps to adulthood and know that you're treating them that way. I know I got more out of my son, who doesn't say much, but he would talk to me if you know, we talked to him on an adult level, and no longer that child parent conversation, because that was way too old for him. Mm-hmm. He was like, I'm done with that. Let's you know, if you want something, ask me. And we got to that, and it's great. I love the adult conversations with my older children. It's fantastic.
How are you all feeling today? What's going through all of your heads and hearts in this moment? So feeling a little emotional? Sad tears? Mixed emotions?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. In the same way your student is feeling a million things, so are you. It's this huge, incredible accomplishment, and it's also kind of a sad time, because you're like, this person isn't going to be in our day-to-day lives in the same way they have been before. But that's the point of celebrating today. And the next few days, as you're moving in, as you're putting the sheets down, as you're wearing the matching parent T-shirts, it's a really incredible thing. And like we said, we want to give you the grace and the ability to feel all of those things. And it's okay to be a little bit sad that person, that little child that you see them, isn't going to be in your home in the same way. But it's also just as wonderful to be so excited about this accomplishment.
Yeah, we're in a safe space here, but
yeah.
Also it's, you know, it's the end of the childhood. It's the end of them being a child and you being the parent overseeing that child, and it's now that child's turn to be an adult and start to blossom. So it's going to be great. This is a great opportunity for your students. I think this is going to be awesome. Parents, because I've had that before. My wife and I probably teared up for about 30 miles after we dropped off our student in Arizona. And so not the 12, you know, it's different. My son was different. It was 12 miles away, you know, and he just ran out. He's like, whatever, see you guys. And my daughter we sat there and hugged for like 30 minutes before we took off. So yeah, and it's okay. You know, this is that time for that. It's not, it's nothing to be embarrassed about. This is true feelings.
And it's okay to take moments when you might get distracted, like I said, with the sheets and the lamps and all the to-do lists. And we want to make sure you have some moments just to say those things or articulate the appreciation, because what we say is you are the voice in their head, and that won't go away. They may choose to not listen to that voice in every moment going forward, but you all are still very much a part of their experience, and you have gotten them here, and you'll continue to be a part of that experience with them going forward. So it's really important to just know that however you are feeling and however your students are feeling, it's totally fine, and it's a great way to celebrate this today. So we want to give you all just a few moments, because how often in your life do you get, I'm going to give you 7 minutes, I think, totally uninterrupted, quiet time to share with your students. So what we like to say is your students won't know what you don't tell them. So we talked about that communication plan, whether it's answer the phone when we call or all those other pieces, but the pride or the excitement or the sadness from today. So we want to give you all a few moments to share that with your student. You can send them a text, you can write them an email, you can write a letter. We have some paper and pens up here, but we're just going to give you a few moments to do that. And you can choose to give that to them tomorrow or send it like a week from now, whatever makes the most sense for you. But like we said, they won't know what you don't tell them about today. And it's a pretty awesome way to just commemorate this moment. And we want to give you just a few moments to reflect and be in that. So we want to give you all that time. So we'll have you all do that. If you all would like pen or paper, you're welcome to come up here. If you want to just write an email to them and press send later, that's completely fine as well.
Or put your hand up, we'll get some out if you'd like to write a letter. Because sometimes it's good, you write it out and then you get another thought and you write a little more and then you go put it on, you give it to them as you walk out the door, and just something that they can read later. So like my son, he read it like 2 weeks later, said, "How'd you like my letter?" He says, "Oh yeah, that's right." And I haven't read it yet, so I was like, okay.
Yeah. So we'll give you all just a few moments. All right. Well, thanks for indulging us, and hope you had just a few moments to write down those words or send that text or save that email for later. And we're not collecting these or handing them out, so it's totally up to you if you just want to save them for yourself, or maybe even in a month send them to your student. I'm sure they would love getting mail. But like we said, you all are a big part of this day and tomorrow, and you'll continue to be part of your students' experience. And it's so exciting. We're just very proud to welcome you all as part of the Cal family as well. And so hope that you all can celebrate today and share those things of the pride and accomplishment you have in your students, either in a few written words. All right, y'all, we've done enough emotions for today. Okay. Well, we're going to switch gears a little bit. We know many of you are like, I need to know the dates and the times and all those other pieces. So we're going to switch gears a little bit and make sure you all are feeling good as you leave for those logistics and the kind of those basics, so that over this next hour and a half, you're going to feel good about knowing what your students experiencing here and feel good at kind of knowing some of our lingo. But a first part of it, I'm sure you've all heard this before, but we got to go over it, is FERPA. It's the Family Education Right and Privacy Act. And so you might have heard this before when you've called Cal Student Central saying, I pay the bill. Tell me what's going on. And so this is a federal law that protects our students' information. So it says everything of theirs is theirs, no matter their age. As once they are a admitted student here, their information is protected. And we do this. There's a very similar law called HIPAA that protects their health records, which is important to know when we have our folks from University Health Services here in a little bit. But FERPA is something that it's not meant to keep you all out of this relationship. I know Dave and I have already talked about the partnership piece. So this isn't meant to do that, but it's also meant to protect students' information because they are adults in the eyes of this institution. There are some ways, though, for you all to be able to get information and connect with your student.
And that's through Cal Central, being having delegate access through Cal Central. Can I get a show of hands? Who has delegate access through Cal Central, the portal? Oh, good, most of you. Let's switch that around. Who does not have delegate access?
And
raise your
it's okay
hands.
if you don't.
Okay, because that might be important for you if you're interested. If you're interested in maybe paying the bill on time and and making sure your student's still enrolled in school here, you might want to make sure that you have delegate access. And this starts the conversation of the adult relationship, because you're going to want to ask them, hey, I need to have access, because if I'm going to pay the bill, I need access to do that. And so talk to your student about that and make sure that they understand why and that they're giving you access for that. I had access to my student's files, but I gave him my word that I wouldn't look at anything. I would just pay the bill through his deal. And so I had to hold myself to that, because it's, but delegate access is very important for you as a parent, and the student has the rights to take that privilege away as well. And I've had that happen with some parents who have called me and said, hey, my student just took my privileges away. What can I do? And I'm like, you can talk to your student again, because that's all you can do. There's nothing we can do about this. This is your student's right, and they're going to give you access, and you guys determine how that works or what have you. So.
And delegate access, you can have one of three different things. So it means you can have access to finances, grades, or finances and grades. Couple things to note about grades is there aren't weekly, semesterly, or it's end of the semester grades, and it's the final grades only. Finances is getting access to what the bill is and ability to pay. Their students' Cal Central portal, there's a lot more on there than just those things. But that also means that your students are still the first one and the only one receiving emails. So questions about health and safety or what's going on or deadlines from their faculty or Golden Bear orientation starts tomorrow and New Student Services has sent you 8 emails. Yes, we have. All of those things are still coming to your students. So know that that will continue, and so they will still be that primary point of contact for campus.
And along that same line, you as parents need to know certain information. There's 2 deadlines that are really important. One is the SHIP waiver. If you're going to waive out of the insurance, you need to know when to do it. So we're going to send you an update on when that happens. I believe most of you got it. So we're also going to send you information on cancel for non-payment, which is very important. That this Friday is the first time that you have to have at least 20% of your tuition paid. Not housing, doesn't say housing, it's tuition and fees. So we want to make sure that, because that has happened where some people were trying to get money out of a 529 to pay for their student, took too long, it was a week later, and kids' classes all got dropped. And so the student eventually got their classes, but it wasn't the same classes that they had signed up for in the spring. So we want to make sure that you guys know that. So we as Cal parents are going to put that out there for you guys to know that as well. Yeah. So it's not just, you're not just relying on your student for some of the major deadlines.
And you'll be hearing from many of those campus partners, including the finances and health services and SHIP in the coming time here. But I want to highlight one of our favorite organizations, Cal Parents. Yes.
Good morning. Welcome to Berkeley and to Cal Day.
Every time I come here, we love it because the people, I'm a people person, so it's just like, wow.
Berkeley has this magic. There's an energy that kind of flows around here that you can't articulate, but you'll feel it.
On behalf of UC Berkeley's campus community, I want to extend the warmest of welcomes to you, the parents and families of our students. We are grateful and honored that you've entrusted us with your students' education. It's a responsibility that we could not take more seriously. As a parent, I can remember the pride I felt when my own children went off to college. But I also recall the concerns I had for their well-being. Fortunately, the pieces are in place to help your student thrive, not just survive.
Cal Parents is your central resource for parents, guardians, and families to connect with the UC Berkeley campus. Here at Cal Parents, we're trying to help you make this big university into a small community. We do that by allowing you to be engaged with the campus and other parents.
I'm a part of Cal Parents because I had such an awesome experience, and I wanted to make sure that I could pay it forward and help other parents feel comfortable as they're dropping off their freshmen or their new students to UC Berkeley. There were question and answer sessions, there were one-on-one discussions. Parents were made available to me, parents who had gone through the process, to sort of ease my mind around safety and security, housing, and just resources that are available.
Our buildings are on card access, so your students get an ID, we call it a Cal One card.
It's a great way to stay connected with your students in an indirect way.
Cal Parents was instrumental in helping us get involved in our daughter's life without being too involved in her life. They showed us how to navigate the online system for her grades, for making sure her bills were paid, and for making sure that she had a place to eat. However, we didn't want to seem too invasive, so we were able to make sure those things were handled without making our daughter feel uncomfortable. We feel like now we have a partner guiding us in the areas where without them, we wouldn't be able to do it.
Cal Parents also gives parents an opportunity to give back, and there are numerous ways that you can do that. Philanthropy is one of those, but also being able to volunteer your time.
I decided to get involved with Cal Parents because as a proud alum with 2 daughters here, it was a great opportunity for me to contribute and give a little bit back to the university.
I feel a official connection to the campus, and I appreciate the celebration of that and the opportunity to talk to other parents. It's great.
The benefit of being a Cal parent is that we have a community ourselves. In addition to our student going to Berkeley, it's not just a 4-year stint. As a parent, then we are spreading the opportunities and the information about Berkeley to create a community of Cal parents where we live.
It's really upon all of us to get involved, and I think Cal Parents has really done a great job of showing us how we can channel our resources, whether they be talent, whether they be monetary, whether there be gifting, whatever it happens to be, how we can use our resources to make a huge difference in this university.
How's your sophomore's experience been?
We're pleased that a large number of Cal parents choose to participate in the life of the campus. Each year, Cal parents donate tens of millions of dollars to campus initiatives and thousands of hours in volunteer time.
Welcome to Cal Day.
We are all here to make your entire family's time at the world's greatest public university the best it can possibly be. Fiat looks, and go Bears!
Go Bears!
Go Bears!
Go Bears!
Go Bears!
Okay, so Cal Parents is here for you, and we're here to help with several things. Our objectives are pretty clear. We want to be here. We want to be the primary resource for you for information on the campus. If anything were to ever happen, like if there's an emergency or something, you can go to our website, and we will also have as much information as we can up to you in terms of anything that's going on our campus. Okay? We want to empower you to guide your student. You can't do things for your student as like we did when we were in high school. We want to make sure that you're informed with information so that you know how to guide your student as they go through the campus. Number 3, we also invite parents to support the university through philanthropic giving. If you already give to certain, if you already give to certain charities or whatever, we would love to have your support as well. And we do have people that will Cal Parents, Cal Parent Philanthropy that'll talk to you about any type of information that you might need. Okay. We also have an opportunity for parents to volunteer in certain areas, and you could do it at your home, whether we're having an admissions reception in New York, or down in Florida, or in Texas. You can be there and talk to other parents that might be coming to learn about Berkeley, and you could talk about your great experiences that you've had with and your students, how they've had a great experience here on campus. Okay, so that's an opportunity as well. We also have big days on campus. You saw Cal Day is one day where a lot of parents volunteer, as well as we have homecoming and parent weekend. And I would suggest everybody come out for parent weekend if you can. It's a fantastic weekend to be here, and students really enjoy having you back after about 6 to 8 weeks where they've been on their own. So that'd be great. All right, so I want to give you some. These are our resources in terms of people to contact. So if you want to take a picture of that, by all means, take a quick picture. If you got a resource guide, those numbers are inside of that resource guide that you picked up outside. Anybody a Facebook user here? Our only social media is Facebook. We have Facebook so on the regular Facebook page, we're pushing out information to you. And then we have the discussion group that there's a lot of stuff going on that one. Who here is part of the discussion group as well? Okay, great. All right, so important dates. This is always good to know, okay? Golden Bear orientation starts Wednesday. Classes begin on the 28th. Our first home football game is August 31st. Who's going to be here for that? Huh? Go Bears. All right, playing UC Davis. Okay, so Labor Day, September 2nd is a Monday. know that, there's Parent Weekend, October 18th through 20th. Usually parents come on Friday, come about midday or so and engage in like the discussions, the lectures that are going on campus. You meet up with your students, see where they're at, and then there's a whole bunch of exhibits, lectures, things going on, and on Friday night there's a big a big picnic out on our Memorial Glade. So that's really fun. And Saturday's the game. They have a pregame. They have a tailgate up here by the Campanile. The band walks by. It's really fun. So if you're interested, come on out for that. Know that Thanksgiving break, we don't have class on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. So if you want to get your student a flight home or start to plan, they're done on Tuesday. They have Monday and Tuesday. Sometimes if they only have class on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, they're done on Monday because they have no class on Tuesday. And so talk to your student about what their situation is and when they can come home. And then, make sure you have a communication plan for when they come home. Because when you come home, when the student comes home, you're going to be very excited, and they're going to want to see their friends. And so they're going to come home, and then they're not going to be home. So make sure you communicate about that prior to prior to them coming home. All right? I remember my dad telling me that all the time. You're here, but you're never here. So that's Thanksgiving. You get 3 full days, and maybe 4. Our R&R week. That's a full week. It's dead week for us. It's basically you have reviews that week. You have a lot of studying to do. You have things to catch up on. A lot of papers are due in our week. So know that. If they say that they're going to go home for that week, that's absolutely the wrong thing to do. Okay, so that's an awesome week for our kids to really hunker down. And there's no space in the libraries. Everybody's studying. So it's a pretty significant week. And then final exams. And then move out of the residence halls is December 21st. It's 10 a.m. on that Saturday. Now, when you're moving out, you just take what you need, lock everything else up in your room, and leave. You're fine. Okay, all the dorms get locked up on December 21st. They lock them up at noon, and they secure them for the break. So everybody needs to leave. It's 10 a.m. on that Saturday after finals. And just take what you need. Take your backpack, take your laptop, any clothes, but you don't need to take everything, okay? And then spring residence hall move-in, it opens up on the 16th. It's a Thursday before we start school. And since you're all here, you might want to know that we start our spring semester on Tuesday after Martin Luther King holiday every year. We start on the Tuesday after Martin Luther King holiday. So if you want to plan, you can look, Martin Luther King, we start class on Tuesday. The previous Thursday is when we open the dorms. Most students don't come back until Saturday or Sunday before the Tuesday classes start. So if they're here on Thursday, they might be bored. Okay? So any questions? Any questions about this? Huh? They can stay in their dorm. Yeah, dorms are open for for Thanksgiving break. Yes, dorms are open for Thanksgiving break. There's limited amount of dining, but there is dining for them as they stay over the break. Yes. Yes. Yeah. They have class Monday and Tuesday, but if they only have Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes, they only have class on Monday. So it's up to them. They can determine when they want to go home. Yes, ma'am. Students do not you have to buy them. You go to calbears.com, and your student can go in as a student, and they put in their student ID, and then they buy, I believe it's a $79 Cal football and basketball ticket, which is phenomenal, which I would recommend. It's a great way to have fun, meet new people, and go out and see sports. That should cover that, yes. And I think typically when they get that as well, then they have that pass, and it shows to the other sports that they can get in. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes, sir. Winter break, you have to leave the residence halls. Yes. You, so that could be, if you're an international student.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Your stuff does not have to leave with you. Yeah.
Your stuff does not have to leave. You can leave it there, but you have to vacate the dorms. Yes. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am. Spring break is?
Usually in March.
It's like March.
I only got you through January on this slide, y'all. I'm sorry.
I know. I can tell you in a second. I got
Yeah.
my phone, but I know when it is.
Happy to look that up
It's
for
on the
you.
Cal Parents website. If you look at important dates, click on more dates, and it's on there. I already put it. Campus is open. Yes. Spring break, you don't have to leave. Spring break, you can stay and stay in your dorm. Yes. There you go.
Thank you, Conrad.
Thank you,
Awesome.
Connor. That's my intern. He's awesome. Third year from going into his senior year from Chicago, Illinois.
All right.
Love that guy.
All right.
All right.
Wonderful. Let's say big round of applause for David and our folks with Cal Parents. We really hope you get involved. It's an incredible way to get connected. We're so
I look forward to talking with you on an individual basis at some point. Okay.
Wonderful.
Come on by.
All right. So before we start bringing up some of our incredible presenters today, you might be wondering, what is this Golden Bear orientation thing? What are my students going to be doing for the next week? How could you possibly have a week-long orientation? No one else has that. And you're right. We like to do things differently here at Berkeley. But as the Director of New Student Services, please know that this entire next week is planned because we believe that there is much more to being successful here at UC Berkeley than just taking a campus tour and registering for classes. There's so much more to life on this campus. And we mentioned resources and involvement, all those things. And if we just sent them an email or just gave them the online components that they got this summer, they probably wouldn't experience it all. And we also mentioned that fear of making friends. We want to spend a lot of time helping them have that strong peer connection because having that support system is so essential here. So what's happening over this next week? Over this next week, students are going to be paired with other students who are either first years like them or transfers in small groups led by orientation leaders. And we have over 400 orientation leaders who are volunteering their time. They're current students who have gone through a couple days of intensive training just recently. Nate here is one of our student coordinators. He's actually been working with us all year. Incredible human being who started as an orientation leader and has continued over the past few years to give back to new students. And so our program is so much supported by the students of this campus because they want to be able to give back and make sure your students have a successful transition. So you're going to be hearing from some different campus partners, and they may say, tell your student this, or make sure you send them this email. And the first thing that's going to come across your brain is, but I don't have any time. Don't worry about it. You don't know that over this next week, we're going to be spending time with them, giving them all of these resources, perhaps in a slightly more engaging format than them sitting in this room and people talking at them. Because we really want them to experience all of this. So on tomorrow or even today, we'll actually have our check-in open. They're going to be checking in, getting their student, their Cal One card if they are in university residence halls. If they're a commuter student, they're going to get their Cal One card from us. They're going to get their GBO name tag, their official wristband, which yes, they have to wear, but all other 9,000 people will wear too, so it's okay if they don't feel like they're super cool rocking the wristband. And we're going to help them through this whole week. On day one, they're going to meet their small group, and that's going to be folks who are going to be with them that whole time. It's a nice way to not have to worry about, okay, who's my best friend, or am I allowed to go to a meal with them? Can I hang out here? Because everyone's all spending that time together. So it's that built-in support group. And if your student's living in the residence hall, we actually make their groups based on folks who live around them. They're not going to be with a roommate because they're going to get plenty of time with their roommate, but we want them to start building those connections and having that support. We're going to have time with the entire incoming class, all around 6,000 first years and 3,000 transfer students. We're going to go up to the stadium on the first day. We're going to take a huge class photo, which we've done for the past few years. They're going to have time in their small group. They will get the tour. We're going to have late night programming, and so like she might be saying, well, I'm tired. We're like, okay, go take a nap. This is really the first week for them to realize that they are responsible for their time. We really want to challenge them to engage and participate in every part of the program, because we are not just trying to fill their time. We know that each of these components are built because we know what students need to be successful. So they're going to have late night programming to socialize. They're going to have time with their college. So they're going to be in their small group. They're going to be students from College of Natural Resources, College of Engineering, Chemistry, Letters and Science. And then they're going to split out of their small groups and spend time with their college, kind of diving deeper into academic life. They're going to get 3 meals a day, so there's that basics. We're going to get them on BART and campus and local bus stations, because we want them to know, how do you navigate this place? We're going to introduce them to the city of Berkeley. One of their meals is actually going to be at a restaurant nearby. So all of that to say, they're going to have time with faculty and staff. They're going to also have a lot of fun. We call it Day in the Bay. We're going to send them off to excursions in Oakland and San Francisco. And all of that is fully organized and planned by our team. So we'll know where they are. And know that we do this because we just want them, once classes start, to feel settled. They'll already hopefully have done maybe 1 load of laundry by the time that starts, but they're gonna know, they're gonna have people to support them. So when they walk through campus, they're gonna feel like, okay, I can handle this place. That next challenge of class, I feel good because I already know I have these people backing me up. And I know the alphabet soup of all of our acronyms that we like to do at orientation and at Berkeley. So I hope that makes you feel a little bit better of like what's happening in this next week. It might mean that their schedule, again, is funky and hard to keep in touch with you, but have them send you a meme or another photo of their time with their group, and know that we are so excited to welcome them. We've been working all year for these few days. That's literally, we spent all year. The second September hits, we start planning for the next year. So we're pretty excited for me to go from this giant spreadsheet of names to real live humans, to see them all come together and join this incredible community. So trust that that's what we've done. We're gonna be welcoming them. They're gonna be challenged. They're gonna be asked to reflect about who they are. All of that's gonna happen throughout this upcoming week. And then they're gonna go to class next week. So do y'all feel a little bit better kind of knowing what's happening? Sound good. Wonderful. Well, I am going to do a little fill-in work for you all in the moment. We are going to have presenters coming up. Our first is meant to be from UCPD, and they are a little bit delayed in this moment, but I know that safety is a huge priority. You're over there. There you are. I found you. Okay, well then I apologize. We found you. All right, Nick. Hi. How are you? Oh, well, sorry, I was taking up some of your time. I know. Y'all, I'm so excited to welcome Nicholas Hernandez with you all today. I'm going to give you the mic, and we've got Nate over here managing time. And what's going to happen with all presenters, and we love them. We want to give them their time, but we got a lot of folks to roll through, and so Nate gets to be the bearer of the timekeeper for you. All right. For you, and down is forward.
Down is forward.
Let's give them a round of applause.
Okay. How's everybody doing? Good? It's a lot bigger room than it was last year. Anyways, my name is Nick Hernandez. I'm the administrative sergeant at the University of California Police Department. I work in the Office of the Chief. I've given a couple of these presentations. I try and liven them up a little bit because they're a little bit boring. But I've been at UCPD for 14 years. People will tell you I bleed blue and gold. My father went here. My uncle taught here in the 60s during the protests. My in-laws went here. So naturally, I went to Sacramento State. That's obvious. But I haven't missed a big game in over 30 years. I've seen Cal and Stanford play football since I was 10 years old. Here's some of our information. And all this stuff is here to help your students succeed. I know a lot of times police can be seen as scary, or you only talk to the police when you're in trouble, but we're also here to help navigate where to go, where not to go, what to look for, what not to look for. Some of you might have noticed I brought my backpack up with me. I didn't leave it in my seat. I brought it up here so I could see it, so I know what's going on. That's like one of our number one tips. So that's all of our information. We're gonna try and blaze through this because I know we're behind because I didn't make myself known. There's some fine looking people right there. We are 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. We're open all the time. We are a full-service police department. We have everything you could possibly imagine that a police department should have, except for helicopters and horses. We've got motorcycles, a SWAT team, a bomb team. Our bomb team services not only the Berkeley campus, but it services all of Marin County and Rohnert Park in Sonoma County. 150 sworn employees. Here's the best thing, parents. We also hire students as CSOs. We are one of the highest paying jobs on campus for a student. So if they're interested, they can go to police.berkeley.edu or come see us at Sproul Hall and get a application, and we can get them a part-time job while they're here. Patrol, investigations, we have full-time detectives, crime prevention, Office of Emergency Preparedness is fully staffed now. We have a survivor resource specialist in case your student is the victim of a crime. Let's hope not. Lost and found, if your student loses something, almost all of the lost and founds filter through our department. Sometimes each building has their own, but most of the time it ends up at our department. Alarms, card key access that does not include the dorms. We don't have card key access for the dorms, so if your student needs card key access in the dorms, they gotta go through housing. 24-hour emergency dispatch. I think there's something coming up on this one too. That's what I was looking for. So we have these all over campus. These are what we call code blue telephones. They're pretty easy to spot. They're pretty easy to see. They don't all look like that, but they're a direct patch into our communication center. UCPD has its own communication center where anytime you dial 911 on campus, it goes straight to our department and we dispatch our own officers, and our officers are well-versed in the geography of campus and know exactly where to go, exactly where to find you. If you push this button, it'll go right to that center and that'll tell us where you're at. And so if there's some kind of emergency or you see somebody having an emergency, you push that button, speakerphone turns on, and it blazes through it. I just got the sign over here, 5 minutes, let's keep going. Suspicious people, you'll see it all over campus, these little posters. If you see something, say something. If something doesn't seem right, say something. Let us decide, let us be the bad guy and figure it out, and go through that. I know lately there's a lot of stuff going on. It's on everybody's mind, it's on our mind. We train for it every year, twice a year sometimes. We're prepared. I walked too far, didn't I? There we go. Theft prevention. Like I said, that's our number one crime on campus is theft. We're a public university. We're open to the public. People can come onto campus. It's a beautiful campus. People want to come on campus. But you have to protect your stuff. Probably one of the things that most of our officers will tell you that kind of we hate to hear is, well, I just left my laptop there for a second and I had to use the restroom. And they come back, it's gone. So the number one theft thing is just keep control of your stuff. Make sure it's with you at all times. He's got the 3-minute sign out. Oh boy, this is getting really pressure. Bicycle safety. If you bring a bicycle to campus, we do bicycle registration. That doesn't prevent theft, but what it does is if it is stolen, we have a better chance of recovering it. Because what happens is we put your serial number into our database. If it gets stolen, your student comes, we have the serial number, we enter it into the automated property system, which is statewide. If an officer comes across it, runs the serial number, it says it's stolen, we could have a better chance of getting it back. And we highly recommend that. And that's going to be happening out on the plaza tomorrow. And you can actually go there. I think there's a couple CSOs there now doing it. Travel with people, utilize the safety shuttle program, utilize our student CSOs I was telling you before. What they do, their main function is that they are a part of what's called Bear Walk. And Bear Walk is where you call, you get a CSO dispatched to your location, and they'll walk you to wherever you need to go within a certain geographical area. It's utilized a lot. In my 14 years here, I've never heard of anybody having any issues with people on the street when they're being walked with somebody who has a police radio and is wearing a civilian uniform. You'll see them, they wear yellow shirts. Nope, there's the dusk to 3 a.m. Shuttles run 7:30 to 3. You guys can read this. Smoking, there's absolutely no smoking on campus whatsoever, if anything. That's pretty standard nowadays. The emergency preparedness app, you can download an app. What am I looking at, 1 minute? Oh, look at that. I finished, look at that, it was close. I don't have a lot of time for questions, but I'll be in the back if you guys have something that you want. like I said, the main thing is this campus is a wonderful environment. Like I said, it's no joke. When I start hearing those drums go on, I think about every football game I've been to, the lectures I've been to, the things I've seen and done and heard here in my 14 years, and it's exciting. I would have zero problem sending my children to this campus. Zero. So I know safety's always on your mind. We are in a big city. That's just something we have to deal with and mitigate. And we do the best we can, and we're always here for you guys. We're always here for you. You guys can always come in, walk, and ask questions and engage, and we're more than happy to answer questions, okay? So we're going to turn it over to whoever's next. Huh?
All right. Let's get I think that's the fastest I've ever made you do that. You did great. Thank you so much. Wonderful.
We'll see you tomorrow 3 more times.
Yeah. Wonderful. So we have an incredible support system here. When it comes to safety, it's a huge part of our campus, and your students will be going through a lot of the resources and conversations during their first day with their orientation leader. So know that we're going to go through a lot of these things with them on their very first day here. So it's my pleasure to welcome our next presenter, Jennifer Bradford with the Student Learning Center, because we know that academic life here is a huge reason why they're coming to Berkeley. So she's going to share a little bit about how we view academics from the perspective of the Student Learning Center.
Good afternoon, Cal family. Congratulations on your child's admission to Cal. Again, my name is Jennifer Bradford, and I serve as the director of the Strategic Learning Program at the Student Learning Center. So one thing you want to remember from today is that word, Student Learning Center. Remember that, because you're going to tell your children about that. Okay? Your child's going to start their first semester at Cal in about a week. How many of you are excited for them? Show of hands. Okay? How many of you are a little anxious? Yeah? How many of you are a little sad? Any empty nesters out there? I really feel for you, because as I was watching these videos, I was getting emotional, so I feel for you. I'm a parent myself, so I can imagine what this experience must be like. I've got another 9 years before my son's where your child's at, but it's a lot of emotions I'm sure that you're experiencing right now. As you can imagine, it will be quite a transition coming from high school or a community college into a large research university. You and your child are stepping into new territory here. Some of you have been around campus and maybe are alumni, but it's still new having your child here, and you don't have to take this journey alone. The Student Learning Center is here to show you how to thrive academically at Cal. So who are we? First of all, I'm going to skip the video for a moment, and we're going to come back to that. Okay. Yeah, we'll come back to the video in just a moment. But first of all, I want to tell you a little bit about who we are. The Student Learning Center is the primary academic support unit for undergraduates at Cal. We've been serving students for 40 years. We serve approximately 10,000 students each year. We sit at the nexus of research, teaching, and learning. In short, we are experts on learning, and today we want to share with you what we absolutely know about thriving at Cal and how parents and supporters can help. Sorry, I'm going to skip that. So I'm going to give you a few keys to success here. The first one is to embrace the learning process. Now, what do I mean about that? Well, I want you to think about how babies learn to walk. Those of you who are parents, you've gone through that, you've seen that, what that looks like. Most of the babies learn to crawl before they stand. And from the time they first pull themselves up to standing, this is what I just read, babies spend an average of 1,000 hours of practice before they learn to walk. That's a lot of practice. Mickey's going to be learning all about that pretty soon. So of course, this means they fall down, they try many times, and they fall down many times before they learn to walk on their own. And sometimes they even get hurt. But they get back up and they try again, reaching out for furniture or a loving hand to support them. And they keep trying until they walk on their own. That's what the learning process is like. It's experimental and experiential, which means there may be many milestones of successes and sometimes falls before they have that euphoric experience of great success. Your child knows a lot about the learning process. They are here because they've achieved a lot of success through challenging themselves. And I have no doubt they will benefit from greatly being challenged here at Cal, being challenged at new levels and achieving new levels of success. So when they take their first class at Cal, maybe they will spend hours or even days grappling with a single concept, and that's okay. That's what it's about. Feeling the highs and lows of emotions that go along with that process is also to be expected. In the same way that babies don't judge themselves when they fall, encourage your loved one to give themselves that same grace and space to learn in this new environment. They are learning and growing each day, so remind them wherever they are today is just that. It says little about where they will be at tomorrow. One grade or one class will not make them or break them. They are here to learn how to be lifelong learners. So encourage them to embrace the learning process. Second of all, research has shown that collaboration and collaborative learning has numerous academic benefits. It builds critical thinking skills, models problem-solving techniques, and actively engages students in the learning process. It also reduces anxiety, it increases students' self-esteem, and it increases students' understanding of diverse ways of knowing and thinking. Collaboration also builds community, and community building can provide students with a greater sense of belonging and a sense of being more integrated into the campus community. That in turn will increase their levels of satisfaction and boost their motivation and lead them to greater success. At the Student Learning Center, we incorporate these principles of collaboration and community building into all of our services. We offer one-on-one tutoring, study groups, and review sessions, all led by SLC peer tutors who are trained to facilitate collaboration among students and to build a community of learners. I myself have experienced the power of collaboration firsthand. When I first went to college, I was very independent. I thought I had to figure it all out on my own. I was used to studying that way in high school. But as a math major, I quickly discovered that working in groups was so much more effective. And it also connected me with other math majors. This leads me to our third piece of advice, which is to seek out available resources. So advise your child to reach out for support and become involved. They should not try to go it alone like I did. They can take advantage of office hours to see professors and GSIs, take advantage of other resources that you're going to hear about today. And they can also come to the SLC to participate in study groups, drop-in tutoring, or an exam review session. Also send them to me. As director of the SLC Strategic Learning Program, I offer academic coaching and workshops to share effective and efficient learning strategies, such as time management, test-taking skills, reading and note-taking tips, and other study strategies you may not have heard of. I would love to work with your child. So we're going to take a brief moment and go back to the video. There we go. So that shows you a little bit of our space. And I just want to close now. You guys saw a little bit of what the space, it's a beautiful space, and we do serve those different areas. You saw the signs on the wall for the different areas, econ, math, writing. All those areas we serve. And if you go to our website, let me come back to, this is my closing. I want to just tell you to come and thrive. Send your students to us at the SLC. We have a lot of support for them there. We're in the Cesar Chavez Student Center in Lower Sproul. Check out our website. This is where you can see all of the services that we have at slc.berkeley.edu. And please remind your child that we are offering workshops in writing, STEM, and social sciences this month and next month to prepare them for the academic rigor at Cal. You can also find that information on the website. Look for the calendar and the events. Remember the magic ingredients for thriving at Cal. Embrace the learning process, collaborate and build community, and seek out available resources. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Let's give Jennifer a round of applause. We're so thankful to have her here with us. Wonderful. So our next presenter is one of my favorite folks here at Berkeley. I usually get to see him twice a year at Parent Supporter Orientation, but it's always a lovely time. We know that the health and wellness of your student is a huge priority. So I'm excited to welcome Dr. Harris Maskett from the University Health Services to share with you all about his role on this campus. Let's give him a round of applause.
Okay, do I have a clicker? Okay, great. I've got tea. Excuse me, I've got a throat thingy, but I should be okay to go for about 15 minutes. Hi, everyone. I'm the Urgent Care Chief Doctor at University Health Services. It's also called the Tang Center. Thank you. Let there be light. There are two things I need to do. I need to convince you that we are a real health center. That'll be easy. And then I need to probably answer some basic questions about insurance. If there are other questions afterwards, I will hang out in the back corner up there and we'll go out into the hallway. If you have any questions for me, I'm happy to stay a little bit after and answer some. Okay, that's not me. This is me. This is a bear. You have access to this presentation, so you don't need to take pictures, but every year people do. That's fine. Go ahead. There's good stuff on here. So we've been here since 1906. Anyone have any idea why we've been here since 1906? It's not a bad answer. Go ahead. Shout it out. What happened in 1906? Earthquake! That's correct. And since we knew an earthquake was coming, we set up a student health center just in time. No, it's interesting. The student health center arose out of mass healthcare. All of a sudden, you had people who were homeless across the bay, and we provided mass care here on this campus. And if you look in Sproul Hall, there's a really neat picture of all of these tents all over the campus when it was quite empty. After that, they said, boy, we really should continue taking care of everyone, so they established a health center. That's the beautiful building. We put it here so that when people get injured, they could just fall down to the University Health Services. It's really simple. We are called University Health Services. I want to make sure you understand when I say Tang Center or UHS, it's the same thing. It was just the family who provided a lot of money. The Tang Center is UHS. We are located right here right now. We are in the center of campus. That's Wheeler Hall. I think that's Wheeler Hall, right? Yeah, that's Wheeler Hall. University Health Services right across from campus. We take care of everybody. So this is question number 2. If you don't have the student health insurance, can you come? Yes. Please understand that. That's probably the most important thing I'll tell you. Because every year we get people walking in saying, I don't think I'm supposed to be here. And I wanted to spell that. So if your children are wondering, I don't know what to do, I'm kind of feeling unwell, just go to the Tang Center. We will work out the insurance part for them. We'll help answer questions about insurance, but we want to take care of them regardless of insurance. The other part I want to convince you of is that we are a real health center. Okay. We are not a typical student health. We are kind of different than a student health. We actually are quite different, and the reason is we are the only large campus, and we are quite large, to not have a medical center, a med school. So if you apply to med school, you don't apply to Berkeley. There is no Berkeley Medical School, and we're the only large campus in the whole country that doesn't have that. Why? I think the people who created the health centers and created the early university system said, let's just put the medical center in San Francisco. That's close enough. It's not quite close enough. So we essentially don't have any other game in town. There is a community hospital about 1.5 miles away, but because there is no medical center on this campus, there's no emergency room on this campus, we have to do everything. So we have emergency capabilities, we have physical therapy, psychiatry, we have a whole host of things I'll outline for you, but I want to make it clear we are not just a doctor and a nurse sitting in a student health. It's a lot more comprehensive than that, and we have to be. We're the only thing on the campus. That's me a long time ago when I started working here. This is a list of all the things we have over here, and this is a lovely Monopoly board kind of rendition of what the services are. This is available on our internet website. You can go and check it out. A lot of these things are links that tell you how you would reach us, their phone numbers, their active links on our webpage if you like that kind of layout. But on our first floor, we have an emergency room. I'm the chief doctor there. We also have specialists who come in. We have x-ray, we have ultrasound, we have lab, we have an injection clinic, we have a pharmacy that can take prescriptions from outside places as well. We have a primary care clinic on the second floor. On the third floor, physical therapy, an eye clinic, psychiatrists, psychologists, social workers. It's a lot. It's more than I can even say in 15 minutes. The reason I want to say all of it is just so you're aware that they don't have to be afraid to come. Please come. We do really take our medical care seriously. We were just accredited this last year, and when our accrediting body, who's called AAAHC, did our accreditation, they said the University Health Services is the gold standard for college health. We couldn't give you a higher recommendation. So I wanted to share that with you. Not trying to brag, but feel confident that your children can come and get good care. All right, how can they access us? Well, they can stumble all the way down, or this slide was made before children stopped using phones, but they can go online. Oopsie, I keep hitting the wrong button. They can go online. They love doing that. They can walk in, and us being so conveniently located is terrific. People walk in all day long, and that's fine. But if they want to call us, they can. Okay? There's a primary care clinic. Why would you go to primary care? To get injections, to talk about depression, to talk about back pain, all the typical things you would go to see your regular primary care or pediatric doctor for. We just extend that now because they're young adults. It's easy to make appointments. If they can't make an appointment, there's a phone number, and they can call us. Okay? There's an urgent care. This is where you go for emergencies. It's also where people go if they're used to just going to emergency rooms or urgent cares for healthcare, because that's a normal thing these days. So if they don't know how to access our system, if it's just a little bit tricky, or they couldn't get an appointment, people go to the urgent care. But just so you can advise them, Tang tip, it's a drop-in clinic. People come in with chest pain. People come in not being able to breathe. People come in bleeding with broken bones. So the people who are the sickest obviously get seen first. So just be aware that sometimes there are long wait times, just like in an emergency room or an urgent care. And this is how to access us. There's counseling and psychiatrists. There are counselors. There are social workers. They are always there Monday through Friday. There are also after-hours resources for getting mental health urgently. Am I pressing the right button? Oh, here we go. All right, online resources. This is the most important thing for people of that age. They like to access us online. There's a lot they can do online. So please send them there first, because the first thing you'll think is maybe I should walk in, maybe I should call. You can usually do a lot of things online and save yourself some long waits and walking all the way down there. If they, any time in the year, want to order lab tests without coming in, you can get these tests online. If they want to refill medications, if they want to get medical advice, a lot of this can be done by messaging. So we have a really robust online program. There we go. All right, so how to get help. One is messaging. Another is call or walk in to talk to an advice nurse. She actually works there. She's not just from Google. And if they have SHIP, they can call 24 hours. If they have another insurance, they can usually use their after-hours resources. The next slide talks more about after-hours resources. So what do you do if you have to get care when we're closed? Because we're not open every day of the week. We are open every day of the week. We're not open 24 hours a day. We close at 6 o'clock Monday through Friday, and on the weekends we're open 10 until 4. So what do we do if they have an emergency outside of those hours? Go to our website if they have time. If it's not a 911 type emergency, go to our website. We have a wonderful page that I edit all the time that says After Hours Resources. It talks about how you can call somebody. It talks about how you can do online visits, or you can go to one of the local hospitals. Okay? There we go. All right, you've probably all been inundated with this, but this is actually really important and wonderful. A few years ago, a person that I work with decided all these students need to be immunized so that we cannot have to worry about them all getting vaccine-preventable diseases like measles, mumps, chickenpox, because it happens all the time on campuses, and of course meningitis too. So we embarked on a very, very time-consuming, difficult process of making sure that you have to jump through a lot of hoops, but that your children are vaccinated, and it now works. Our campus has had 4 years of this program. That means your children are going to be really safe on this campus and the other UCs as well. This summer, we had a program that allowed people in without doing this, and lo and behold, we had a chickenpox outbreak. Because chickenpox is one of these, we won't have that outbreak while you guys have your children here, but unfortunately it was something we dealt with, and so it made us all that much happier that we have this program. If you have questions about it, I know that there was a deadline that already passed. There are still some other deadlines. So please go online. There's a wonderful series of resources about how they can get this thing satisfied if they haven't already. There is a deadline to getting these things satisfied. If they don't, they will have blocks on their registration for the next semester, the spring semester. All right, just another important tip. If your children are dealing with any chronic issues, medications they take, medication pumps they're wearing, things that specialists they need to see in the coming months, any help that they'll need urgently, get ahead of that and come and see us urgently if you can. If you want to ask me about that after this talk, I'm happy to help guide you through that. But every year, that's always a common concern. And I would say jump ahead of that, see if they can start a primary care visit before school starts because things get a little bit hectic by then. Insurance, I can't speak to too much because I'm a doctor. I don't understand anything about insurance. But I can tell you this. If you did not waive the insurance program and you have SHIP, you have a very good health care program. You can get care at our facility. You can get care in the community from other providers. If you did waive and you have some other insurance, great, wonderful. I have no bias. I don't mind that. That's fine. But you can still get care at the Tang Center. And like I said at the beginning, I never want people to not come in because they're afraid they won't get covered. A typical example of how I might interact with your children would be they come in with belly pain and a fever, and I say, boy, this looks like an appendicitis. You don't have our insurance. I would do a lot of lab tests here, and it might cost you a lot. I think this might be more cost effective if we get you straight over to the Kaiser Hospital now. And then they'll say, I don't know what to do. Let's call my parents. We talk. I talk with you. I talk with the kid, and we figure it out. That same kid comes in a week later and says, hey, my throat hurts. We do a strep test for $18, and that's it. The whole thing is done. And we didn't even have to worry about insurance. So we will help guide them through these decisions when an emergency comes, but please just seek care, okay? All right, I think that is the end. If you have insurance questions, really, really difficult insurance questions, please reach out to them. There are wonderful people who I work with who love to answer these questions this time of year. If you have any questions specifically for me, I think we have 1 minute for a question. Maybe? All right, yeah, go for it, up front. Great question. Thank you for asking. So the question was, if they have outside insurance, like the parents are still paying for their insurance, can they still visit the health center? And yes, please come visit me. I want to meet your children. And if their bill is going to be exorbitant, and we're not talking about those kind of bills where you hear it was $5,000 for a hangnail. The most I could charge them is $200. We just don't have that much stuff. But that's the most, and I would let them know beforehand that this is going to be a lot. Let's find a place where it's more cost effective, but I will take care of them. I will provide all the care they need, even if they don't have the student health insurance. Okay? Does that answer it? Okay, I'm going to go back there and wait for you guys to come talk to me. Thank you very much, and congratulations for getting into Cal.
Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you. All right. So one of the things we're actually be doing either this Sunday or Monday, all of your students, as part of their orientation week, will actually go into the Tang Center and get to experiencing that space. Because we know for many of your students, maybe they've never actually gone to a doctor's appointment that they've scheduled themselves. So we're going to have that conversation. They're going to walk into that space so they feel comfortable. So we're excited to introduce them. All right, our next presenter, I'm so excited to welcome up. We have Zan Tansey here to talk about residence life. So what is it like living in environment and community that gets built in our university residence halls? So let's give them a round of applause.
Well, hello all. My name is Ann Tansey, as Mickey mentioned, and I am the Associate Director of Undergraduate Residential Life here at UC Berkeley. And on behalf of the entire Residential Life team, I want to welcome you and your students who are going to be moving in with us tomorrow to come and join us as residents for the next year here at Cal. So I'm here to talk to you for about the next 10 minutes about what we do in residential life and, more importantly, how you can partner with us to best support your students. So what do we do in residential life? We are the folks that are responsible for the experience that students have when they're living with us. We partner very closely with the housing department. Those are the folks that handle the physical facilities and the housing assignments, so determining where your student lives. And then once they get assigned, they come and live with us, and we help welcome them to the community and help shape that experience throughout the year. So number one, we really want to make sure that we're cultivating that experience. Number two, we provide a common experience for residents here at UC Berkeley. We're one of two major common experiences here at the campus, the other one being Golden Bear Orientation itself and the Golden Bear Experience. So we're really thrilled to have over 90% of our incoming first-year students live with us, and it's a way to help ground and center their experience, regardless of what their field of study is, so they can connect with students all across the campus. And then very importantly, it's really to help your students launch their success here at Cal, whether they're an incoming first year or first year transfer. We have resources and support services that are going to help them and create a sense of belonging and home while they're here with us on campus. So who are we? Who are we, right? So we have a number of professional and student staff. We have live-in professional staff. We have 15 resident directors and senior resident directors. They are master's level professionals that live in the halls, interact with your students, and are accessible to them on a rotation 24 hours a day to make sure that your students are safe and well. We also have over 171 student staff members that live across the communities to support the over 8,500 students that live with us. So we have resident assistants, senior resident assistants, theme program assistants, and those three are our live-in student staff. So they will be living in the communities with your students. They're there to welcome you. So tomorrow night, when you see signage for the RAs, TPRAs, and SRAs for students to come to their mandatory community meetings, that's a real thing. Make sure your students are going and that they're going to learn more about what the experience of living with us is like. And then we also have residential tutors, who are a fantastic group of students that actually serve as another form of academic support on campus. They offer late and after hours tutoring in the residence halls, so we offer services right where your students live. Another important population that I want to introduce to you all are our resident faculty. So a very unique program is that we have 5 tenured faculty members who live among the residence halls and give your students an opportunity to interact with faculty in a very different way outside of the classroom. It's unique when you get to see your faculty member as a full human being. You're going to eat breakfast with them. They will see them taking their kids to school in the morning and passing them on their way to class. The faculty plan programs and events, sometimes on their field of study, oftentimes on their personal interests, really to help humanize faculty, demystify the faculty experience, and help students get a better sense of what it means to be a part of this academic community here at Cal. Another thing that we do that's really important are programs and events. So when the RAs are welcoming your students tomorrow, they're going to talk a lot about these programs. They're going to receive a weekly newsletter that will talk about various things happening in the community, and they're grounded in these 5 learning goals that are all framed to help set up your students for success, like I talked about earlier. It's about launching your students for the course of their career. But let's get to some of the more important stuff that I want to talk to you all about. It's what do we do that is going to help set your students up for success from day one. So your students have received an email already about a pre-roommate agreement worksheet. Have them fill it out. It's very important. The roommate agreement is going to be sent to your students a little bit later. And what a roommate agreement is just a space for students to talk about what are their expectations and needs living with other folks in a community. As many of you know, living in a shared space with individuals, whether that's a loved one, a sibling, a parent, a child, a friend, even in the best relationship, it's important to have open communication and have an open conversation around what your needs are. Our students, when they show up to campus, oftentimes are in the honeymoon phase of living with their roommates, right? So they're going to show up and say, what do we want to share? I can share everything. That's not a problem. What time do you go to bed? I don't care. Whatever time you want to turn out the lights, it's fine by me. And that usually works for about a week, maybe a month. And then all of a sudden, they get more honest about what their needs are. And to set them up for success in having that conversation, when conflicts may arise, we have everyone fill out this roommate agreement form. So it's a good question to ask your students later on is, have they filled it out when it gets sent out? Academic support, as I shared beforehand, we have residential academic support services that we want to offer our students. So we have residential tutoring. The tutoring is focused on areas of subject that are relevant to incoming first-year students as they acclimate to the campus. We also have LNS peer advisors. So as your students are beginning to look at signing up for their classes for spring semester, they may want some entry-level support. Just have questions about how do you register, when do you register, what are the deadlines. LNS peer advisors are going to be a great resource for them because they're right in the residential units. We also have academic resource centers, which are computer labs and study spaces if students want to get out of their room and have a great place to study in their own residential units. And then finally, as I mentioned beforehand, the residential faculty program. So as I started, I wanted to talk about working in partnership. And this is a very important philosophy that I share with every student and every parent when we're inviting you all to our community. Our philosophy is help us help your students help themselves. We believe in helping our students build towards autonomy as adults when they're living with us. So the first question that we always want to ask a student or a parent when they call is, has your student activated the resources they have available to them here on campus? Because we want students to take ownership of that before you as a parent potentially get involved. We want to make sure that we've exhausted every possible resource. So please make sure that you're encouraging your students to reach out to all of the amazing resources we have. So like I said before, roommate conflicts, roommate agreements are very important. So let's talk through a hypothetical that could come up with a student on talking through their living situation. So your student calls you and says, I'm done with my roommate, I can't live with them anymore, they're the worst human being on the planet, I'm done. What's the first question that you should ask them? So right here, the first question is actually ask your student if they've talked to their roommate. You'd be surprised how many of them answer very seriously, no, why would I talk to them? They might say, I left a Post-it note. I left a passive-aggressive Instagram post. So it's not necessarily about actually having open communication. So that's question number one. If they say, yes, I have talked to my roommate, next question is going to be, did you request assistance from your RA, TPRA, SRA? You'd be surprised how many of them say, I don't know who that is. And they do. You just say, remember that person that you went to the community meeting with when you moved in? You know, that person who comes up and down the hallways and checks in on them, had a one-on-one conversation with you, planned an ice cream party, that's your RA. Go talk to them. And it's a very important resource. All of our RAs, SRAs, and TPRAs are trained in conflict mediation resolution, and they are eager and willing and excited to help support your students in engaging in these conversations. And finally, if they said, yes, I did talk to my RA, and I did talk to my roommate, I'm still challenged, ask them if they've seen their resident director. So those are the professional staff members that live in. We really encourage them to take advantage of that as a resource. Another important thing to make sure that your students are doing as they're moving into our communities is make sure that everyone knows what the rules are. What are the expectations of our communities? So the housing contract is an electronic contract, right? So you're going to see it, you're going to click a button, you're going to sign it and say, I'm good. This is not the iTunes upgrade agreement. This is not an iPhone upgrade agreement. You know, we get those 47-page online forms that go through all the terms and conditions, and oftentimes we're conditioned and socialized not to read through all the details of what we've agreed to. The housing contract is the equivalent of a lease. For most of our students, it's the first time that they've actually signed something on behalf of themselves, agreeing to a set of standards and rules. So it's very important that each of your students reads through this residential code of conduct, not only to know what's expected of them, but to also know what they can expect of their peers and of us as residential life to make sure that they're being supported and safe in our community. And finally, what happens if your student calls to say, my toilet's broken, my shower's broken, there's a light bulb out? Your instinct sometimes might be, okay, I'm gonna call. I wanna help out, I wanna make sure this is done. What I'm going to ask each of you to do is encourage your students to seek out the resource that we have right here, which is maintenance.housing.berkeley.edu. We have a fantastic work order system where students can go in and submit any of their requests, and it's a fairly quick process. If at any point in time a student is struggling with any of these services, they can certainly reach out to their RA, but this is the first place that we want our students to start with. Thank you. So before I wrap up here, again, I really want to stress that we are here to support your students. We are thrilled to have them join us, and we're thrilled to help them navigate this experience over the course of their year. So encourage your students to seek out all of the opportunities they have over the week of GBO to get to know their RAs, get to know their resident directors and their fellow residents, so that they can help create a sense of both community and belonging while they're living with us here at Cal. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you, Zan. So happy to have you. I'm going to do a little handoff here. All right. So thank you all for your patience and engagement, and we're excited to welcome our final presenter up to the stage. Again, there's so many things going on. I hope you've been taking photos. We'll be sharing this as well, but excited to welcome one of my favorite folks on this campus, and I know I say that a lot, but this is someone who I met when I first started working here, and very appreciative of her time. We have Sylvia Marquez here to share with us about financial aid, scholarship, billing, all of these things, of which she knows a lot about. And this is definitely one of those areas where she's going to try to share with you all so much information. So take it all in, take screenshots if you will, because we just know that there's a lot and it can be a little bit complicated. So want to be able to appreciate her time and energy here, and thank you all as our last presenter comes up.
Thank you. They put the money person at the end so you would stay. As Mickey said, my name is Sylvia Marquez. I'm an Associate Director in Financial Aid and Scholarships. I'm also a Cal alum. I have a ton of information, so I'm going to go quickly. We're not going to have time for questions during the presentation. I can stay for a little bit afterward. We have a lot to cover in financial aid. I'm also going to cover Cal Student Central so that you know how to get a hold of us. And we'll cover some billing information as well so that you understand what you're looking at as we go through, okay? So a little bit about financial aid first. We disperse over $750 million a year, and so we are very much a part of the process in creating diversity on this campus because we have students from all sorts of backgrounds. And so financial aid does help in that sense of bringing and creating access for students. And we know that having financial aid and finishing that degree can change a student's life, can change their family's life. And so we're very proud of what we can do here to assist students. I want to start with some really general information. So as part of financial aid, if you're receiving aid now and you want it in the future, your student needs to apply every year. They need to be either a citizen, a permanent resident, or a DREAM student. To be eligible for financial aid from our office. There are the websites for the applications. The application will open this October for the next academic year, so you can start as quickly as possible. It's important to know which application applies to what academic year. So for this academic year, which means fall 19, spring 20, and summer 20, it's the 19-20 application. And then you'll do the 2021 starting for next fall, okay? There are a lot of other things that I want to share with you, but for the sake of time, I'm going to give you all a little bit of homework. So to understand how we calculate financial need, how we calculate the expected family contribution, to answer a lot of your basic questions about when aid disperses, which started today. On our website, financialaid.berkeley.edu, you will find all of this information. Just do a quick search. I promise you most of the answers are going to be there. And then anything that is timely, that's information you should have at the start of each term, you can go to the What's New page on our website. It's the actual landing page. If you just click on the link, you'll get to timely information like when does my aid disperse? The earliest was today. I do want to talk a little bit about money because part of how we package financial aid is in large part based on where your student lives, aside from the application information, where they actually live, whether it's a dorm, which is a traditional residence hall, and an on-campus apartment, including the village, or off-campus apartment, or commuting, which I don't have here. But that in large part dictates how much we give a student, maybe not the types of aid per se, but we know that we want to provide at least that much for the student for one academic year. That means August through May, does not include summer. If you are a non-resident student, you're going to tack on another $29,754 on top of those numbers, okay? The things in blue, tuition, room and board, and health insurance, are the things that the university would bill you for directly. Tuition and fees and health insurance are set amounts. Everything in between those two figures are estimates. It could cost more, it could cost less. It in part depends on your student, where they live, how many roommates they have, meal plan, the major in terms of the books, that sort of thing, okay? But it gives you an idea of what we package for. To look at financial aid, you want to get into My Finances. This is within Cal Central. Your student has probably already been in there. Hopefully a lot of you have already been in there and have access to it. I know you all talked about delegated access earlier today. So we are one of those offices that have to protect student information. They are our student now. And so parents or supporters, even if you are paying the bill, we cannot talk to you unless your student has delegated access. So please make sure that you take care of that. It just makes it a lot easier for us to be able to go over the details with you. And we will ask you for your code phrase, so make sure you know what that is. I want to talk about the middle section, which is the financial aid and scholarship specifically. The View Awards button is where you would go to look at the actual awards. Right below that, it will tell you if you have any tasks that are incomplete that could stop your aid from paying. On the far right side, there are a lot of resources. Delegate access is at the very top, so it's easy to find. Direct deposit, if your student's getting a refund, please, please, please do not have them wait in line for a check. It is a waste of their time. Please have them just set up direct deposit so it goes directly into their bank account. They will thank you for it, I promise. We also have emergency loans to help pay for a portion of tuition, or if your student runs into an emergency during the year, registered students can apply for an emergency loan up to $1,000. It's due in 60 days. There's no fee and no interest. Okay? That's, again, for emergencies. Go. Okay. I want to talk quickly about awards. So the tasks will be visible. So if there's anything that the student needs to do in order to get their aid, will be on the your right side, your left side. So anything that has a little arrow next to it, you can open up and expand, and it will give you the details of what needs to happen, what needs to be done, what needs to be submitted. If you need access to forms, they're at the bottom of the tasks. Verification appeals are available there. In the middle is the cost of attendance, which is what I showed you earlier. And you can open that up. You can view it by semester. I do encourage you to view the costs or the estimates of the attendance by semester, because there could be additional costs in the fall that are not there in the spring. So it's always important to see the difference. The housing type is right in the middle as well. And then when we get to the awards, you can also view the awards by semester. I encourage you to view them by semester because, again, they could be different. You might have more money in the fall or more money in the spring. So definitely take a look at those because it will help you with your budgeting, which we're going to talk about in a minute. And then you have your loans down here in the bottom. I put question marks there. There's normally a big blue button that says accept so that students can tell us how much they want. I don't advise you to take those until you've done some planning and some budgeting to sort of figure out what it is you're going to need to borrow if you need to borrow anything. Students always ask, which one do I borrow? How much? I don't know the difference. We are always going to list the awards in order of most desirable to least desirable, and that includes the loans. So we'll always start with the subsidized, which means that the interest is paid by the Department of Education. Student doesn't have to worry about it while they're in school at least half time. Okay? The interest rate is listed there, 4.53. It went down from last year for all three groups. The next group are unsubsidized. Those are accruing interest from the time that they're dispersed. And then parent loans. We may offer you a parent loan. You need to apply for it. It is credit-based. All of these loans are directly through the Department of Education, so you don't need to go to a bank unless you want to do your own, which you can because those rates are kind of high, especially on the parent loan. But you're welcome to do that. Just know that we will offer it to you as part of the award package. Our message to students and to parents is borrow only what you absolutely need. So to try and help you figure out what you might need, we've created a worksheet for you that's available online. We encourage students to do this with their parents or their supporters so that you understand, here are all the charges I'm going to have for the first semester. Here's all the financial aid I'm going to have for the first semester. Don't include your work study because that's something you have to earn. Don't include any loans maybe initially, and then figure out, do I still owe the university for the first semester, or are they paying me back? Have I taken care of everything? And this will help you sort of figure that out. And it's really part of creating a spending plan. Some students have already done this in the past and have created budgets before. Some students have not. And so this is a good learning experience to help students do that. So take all of the income, which is your aid, subtract out your charges, and that'll give you the difference. Again, just leave out the work study and leave out the loans initially, because then you'll figure out what you need to borrow, okay? If you're not thinking about borrowing at all, but you know that you're still gonna owe, There are alternatives. Work study is one of them. And also just trying to reduce expenses. That's the other thing to think about, and outside scholarships. Again, as I said, creating budgets and spending plans might be new to some students, and so we have a tool online that's available in Cal Central. It's called iGrad, and it does things that are as basic as creating a spending plan and goes all the way through retirement and buying a home and all sorts of other things. It covers all the topics in between, and it's available to your students online for free. So I strongly encourage you to have your students create an account. They should already know about this from Golden Bear Prep. So we've put in a module for them to be able to see this. So we do encourage them to go through that. The tools are available to them. There are some other budgeting apps that are available for students, and so we encourage you to work with your student to start to use some of these. Some of them can be connected directly to bank accounts. They can be directly connected to other types of accounts and coordinate expenses for you. So if you don't want to borrow, work study is an option. It's just a good way to get some experience, maybe in a field that your student is interested in. It is need-based. So if your student is eligible, we would have already put it into the package. These are the websites for you to be able to find a work study job. And if you don't have work study, there are other options for working, and the Career Center is always a good place to start on our campus at career.berkeley.edu. So the thing you will always hear me say, and if I've met any of you at any of the newly admitted student events, is your student should apply for outside scholarships every year, the whole time that they are here. This should be their new part-time job. Our commitment is to reduce the subsidized loans and work study first. That's our goal. We don't want students to work, and we don't want students to borrow if they don't have to. Okay, so outside scholarships allows them to not do that. We'll let them keep the free money and the outside scholarship they bring and potentially not borrow. There are some exceptions to that, but that is our goal and our commitment to our students. There are a couple of search engines there for your student to be able to start that process if they haven't already. So you've done all that, you've figured out if you need to borrow or not, and then you figure out things have changed. You did your applications and it's got data from 2 years ago, 2017 taxes. There is a process to tell us that something has changed, lost a job, medical expenses, other things like that. There's a family contribution appeal. If your expected family contribution is already zero, don't do an appeal. It cannot go lower than zero, okay? If your expenses are actually higher as a student, we will allow for some of those expenses to be included. That appeal will go online on September 3rd. And then there are strings attached to financial aid for your students, okay? We want them, the goal for everybody is for your student to finish with a Berkeley degree. So as they're receiving aid and they're here, they need to be progressing at a certain pace. They have to complete at least 67% of all the units that they attempt. Okay, so it's a little more than 2/3. 2.0, and they can't attempt more than 180 units. The school's not gonna let them do that anyway, but those are federal requirements. Tips and resources. So we do have a peer program that allows for some of this financial wellness advising, and so it's called Bears for Financial Success. We don't want students to be stressed out. We want to make sure that our students have enough information to make the decisions that they need to make. And so our peers can do that for our students. We have monthly wellness blogs, lots of other information, and then we always have programs to make sure our students have food, have housing. If we have students that have children, our educational opportunity program, we have counselors that go directly to those programs to meet students where they are. So we do our best to make ourselves available to our students in their spaces. Key important dates, we started releasing financial aid today, so you may see some changes on the account. Emergency loans will become available on Wednesday, which is 1 week before classes start. Tuition and fees are due on Friday, the 23rd. To get registered, students need to pay at least 20% of tuition and fees, not housing, not health insurance, tuition and fees specifically. If that's not paid by Friday, at least 20%, there is a possibility your student could lose their classes. So please keep on top of that or come and see us. August 27th is the last day to withdraw, and classes start the 28th, okay? So how do you get in touch with us? So you want to talk to financial aid. So you're going to go to Cal Student Central. So Cal Central is the online portal. Cal Student Central is the physical space where you can come and talk to someone in person. You can create a ticket online or you can call us. And we are the front line for financial aid, for the registrar, and for billing. And these are just some of the topics that we cover. But everything I just told you about how to get aid, what does this mean, what type of loan do I take, transcripts, enrollment verification, billing questions, which we'll cover a little bit of in a few minutes, this is where you want to come. What I will tell you now, and I just came from there, this is our busiest time of the year. So we ask for patience. If you want to come earlier in the day, you have a better shot. We may close early on some days because we're just at capacity. We're a small but mighty team, but there is only so many hours in the day for us to be able to see students. This is how you can find us. If you want to create a case online, you can do that by going to studentcentral.berkeley.edu and creating a case. If your student is expecting a refund check because they didn't sign up for direct deposit, it's possible we will have it available as early as Wednesday if the aid paid out. They can pick up a refund on Saturday. This is one of the only Saturdays ever that we're open to do this. So if there is a check, it's possible that it will be there for them to pick up on Saturday between 10 and 4. Phone lines are going to be tough right now. Again, it's our busiest time. The wait time could be quite a bit. So again, we just ask that you be patient with us. And delegated access, whether in person, online, or on the phone, we're going to ask you for the code phrase. All right, so now let's talk about billing. Okay, so you've gotten aid, your students enrolled, they did all their tasks, they're in at least 6 units. We take care of the rest. Once they've done everything they need to do, the aid will automatically pay starting today. We will take that money and we will pay their tuition and fees first, and then we will start applying the money toward housing. So to take a look at this, we're going to go back to My Finances. This time we're going to look at the billing summary instead of financial aid. There's a button there that's kind of hard to see that says Make a Payment. And then you can click on the View Transaction link at the very top to see all of the information about what your student is being billed for, what awards have come through, what payments have been made. This is all color-coded for you, so the orange is due now, the red is past due, the yellow is not due yet. You can filter any way you want in here, so you can look at all transactions, just the unpaid portions, and then you can look at payments and financial aid to search for where your awards have gone. Let's go. Okay, so if we're looking at transactions, we can go to the unpaid balances, so you can see exactly just what's owed as opposed to everything. You can take a look at, it'll give you a description, so the black amounts are charges, the green amounts are actually payments. It tells you the status of the charge. If it's due now, it tells you when it's due, how much is still outstanding on that charge, which might be different from the original amount that you were billed. And you can see them by date or due date. You can search by keyword. If you're looking for Cal Grant, type in Cal and you will find it. You can take all of these transactions, whether they're payments or not, open it up. It will tell you exactly if the award or the charge has changed. There's a possibility it has changed, gone up, gone down. So you can see the history if you just click on one of those. Same thing with the payments and aid. You can open it up and take a look to see what that award actually paid on the student account, which is super helpful because if you make a payment, you want to know exactly where it went, okay? So if you go to payments and awards, look at the charges paid detail, and it will tell you exactly if it paid tuition, if it paid housing, so that you know where your money is going, okay? Payment information, so there are a lot of options. We recommend you do everything online. Again, delegated access is one of the first steps, so make sure your student does that. We can send you a notification that the billing statement is available as long as your student has delegated access to you. So otherwise, that notification is going just to the student every month. Okay, so it's a good idea if you're helping them through this to do that. But you can do online payments. We are taking checks this week, but that's it after this week. Otherwise, you can go drop it off at University Hall. But you can stop into Sproul this week if you need to drop off a check. What else? Let's see. Studentbilling.berkeley.edu will give you more information about the billing process. These are the payment options that I mentioned and the locations. Just know that if you're doing an international funds transfer, It does take a few extra days, so if you're trying to make that payment by Friday, just know it could take a little bit longer. Have your student come and see us to make sure that they don't lose their classes, okay? If you do your payment online from a bank account in the US, it's quick, it's in real time. So it should update very quickly. Credit cards, there is a fee charged by the company that we partner with, not by the university, okay? If you need a payment plan, you can do that. There's a $60 charge to do the payment plan. It's non-refundable. We advise you to, if you're going to do that, for tuition and fees only, because housing is already billed by the month. For tuition and fees, you can do that. We advise you to go into the plan first if you need it, then make a payment, okay? It will break up the payment between August and December for tuition and fees. These are some of the lots of questions that we get. Do I need to make a payment to activate the plan? No. I have partial financial aid. Do I need to make a payment to activate the plan? Still no. And what if I don't pay the installment by the due date? There is a $25 late fee. If you don't pay on the due date, it's assessed 30 days later. 60 days, it will create a hold on the student account and prevent them from accessing services and enrollment. We do third-party contracts. These are the restrictions around third-party contracts. If you have an organization that wants to take care of the fees for your student, they're very specific. Again, you can find more information at studentbilling.berkeley.edu. Just a couple of things. This was the 20% that I talked about a few minutes ago. It's called cancel for non-payment. You will see this and your student will see it. Don't panic. Just know that your fees are always due the Friday before classes start. Every semester. Doesn't change. Okay? There are options. Again, Cal Central is a good place to start, and then Cal Student Central if your student needs assistance, but they are going to get emails starting this week. Verification of enrollment. So some folks need to document that their student is enrolled in college. We will start doing this when classes start, so we won't make these available till at least next Wednesday, but we can do these things for you, and they can be done online directly through Cal Central. Your student can access them. So you're still looking for classes, you can also do this online and take a look just to fill in some additional classes through the Berkeley Academic Guide. Okay. Questions, again, come and see us. Earlier in the day is better. We tend to close, I know we're open until 4, but we might cut off the line much earlier than that because we will hit capacity. Okay, that's it. I did it.
She did great. Thank you, Sylvia. So that is a lot, and I completely know that. So want to also offer to you all, if all the slides you've seen today, you may have noticed that we don't print things. New Student Services, it's our goal to support the university initiative to be zero waste by 2020, so we try to be no print. So you are always welcome to reach out to our office. We're New Student Services. You can shoot us an email, and our team there would be happy to give you a PDF version of this presentation. They are also receiving calls from the 9,000 other students who are like, oh, orientation's happening. Forgot about that at the same moment, so give us some grace in that. But I, again, wanted just to say thank you all for your time. We know that there's so much going on. I am so appreciative of you all spending some moments with us today. Know that we're going to be offering 3 of these tomorrow, so you can come back and do the whole spiel all over again if you want more. I'll stay hang up here for a few minutes, but want to say thank you, welcome to the Berkeley family, and go Bears.